Alright, so this video was recommended to me. This is not an anti-meat video by Kurzgesagt in a nutshell. Let's go and watch it.
This is not an anti-meat video. We've all heard the arguments against meat, and yet in the EU and US, only between 1 and 6% of people don't eat it. Meat is just too tasty, convenient, and ingrained in our culture for most of us to consider giving it up. Also, food is personal, and nobody likes to be morally lectured. At the same time, we love animals. Most of us have pets and believe in animal rights. Few things make the internet as angry as animal cruelty. Both are true. We love meat and we love animals. Unfortunately, most animals we eat live in truly horrible conditions. We don't torture them for fun, but because it makes meat just a little bit more incredibly cheap. If we all paid just a tad more, we could avoid most animal suffering, often just for a few pennies per meal.
And let's not forget about the free range animals. It's not even what you think. It's just a small section, and that's it. That's free range. They're still bundled up together. They just get to go outside in a very small fence.
Disclaimer: farming is complicated. Many farmers are genuinely trying to give their animals the best life possible, but they're trapped in a complex system with extreme market pressure to keep prices low. No two countries have the same standards, no two farms are equal, and solid data is often scarce. We've done our best to combine data from different regions and the prices you pay in the end.
For the purpose of this video, we assume all changes in production and wholesale cost transfer retail price without adding surcharge.
To keep things simple, we're going to classify farming practices into 3 broad groups: decent, prisons, and torture camps. This is a bit sketchy, and you've probably seen many more categories in the supermarket, like organic or grass-fed.
Yep. I hate this. Like, honestly, like, it's like, if nobody knows about this, like, it's very transparent about what's happening. Like, grass-fed, okay, they're being fed with the actual grass on the ground and not, like, what's that truly mean? I know it's not what it means. And organic, what does that mean? You mean it's not being made in a lab or something? Is that what it's trying to tell me? It's not made in a lab? And cow friendly. How is it cow friendly? You mean you feeding it to the cows? Approved by chick. Okay, wait a minute. Approved by chicken. What the unicorn free? Okay, this is all okay. I had to look at all of them. Never mind.
We'll come to that later. So, fellow omnivores, what would it cost us to avoid animal torture and still have our fried chicken? Chickens. At any given time, there are about 26 billion chickens alive on Earth, as many as all other birds combined. Chickens seem dumb, but they're social, can communicate, solve problems, and feel empathy. And yet, we keep the vast majority in insane torture. Let's start with eggs. Worldwide, about 90% of laying hens live in torture camps, crammed in extremely tight cages where they can barely move. They're unable to show any natural.
Organic is another term for animals or their feed not being treated with pesticides or gen editing, typically. I see. Okay. That I didn't know. Thank you.
Chicken behavior like nesting, roosting, foraging, or pecking at the ground, so they become extremely frustrated and end up hurting each other badly. To stop this, many farms clip their beaks. In the US and Europe, legal bans and consumer initiatives have improved the situation a lot in the last few years. But still, more than 50% of hens remain in cages. The insane thing is that this doesn't even save a lot of money. Let's say a dozen eggs costs you around €360 or dollars, 30 cents per egg. How much does it cost to free the hens? The main alternative to cages are barn systems. Hens are still kept indoors, but have twice as much space and roam freely. Barns are prisons. Still not amazing, but so much better. In the EU, barns increase the consumer price by about 2 cents per egg. The somewhat decent alternative is free range, where hens are allowed outdoors, often with proper access to vegetation. In the EU, this increases the price by about 7 cents per egg. Housing aside, one of the cruelest practices is chick culling. Male chicks don't lay eggs, so they're killed right after birth, usually by gassing or grinding. This is a really widespread practice used for caged, barn, and even organic eggs.
What? What? Tell me I'm not the only one that knows about this. Oh my god.
7 billion baby chickens are killed this way each year. France and Germany have banned this, so many breeding eggs here are scanned early and only female birds hatch, which may have increased costs by only 2 to 5 cents per egg. So if you pay 85 cents more for a dozen eggs, you can make a difference between serious chicken torture and pretty decent chicken lives.
So how come when I don't buy eggs in the grocery store or at Walmart, but I get them at Aldi, so it's about $8. But over in Walmart it's like $12. How come we're getting that? Is it the price of delivering said eggs and keeping them, you know, in storage? Is that it? This is why I suggested the video tells a lot of important info. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rennis.
And for another 60 cents, you can help end chick culling too. Chicken meat is a different story. Most meat chickens today are genetic freaks, bred to reach amazing weights incredibly fast. Their internal organs are under a huge amount of stress, and they can't even walk properly because of their weight, which causes them a lot of pain for much of their lives. It's hard to give exact numbers here, but if farmers were to switch to breeds that grow slower and suffer far less, a serving of chicken breast that you buy at $1.50 would become 9 cents more expensive in the US. 90% of meat chickens in the EU live in prisons or torture camps. They're kept indoors in extremely crowded conditions, with sometimes dozens of birds per square meter, often in the dark and with poor ventilation. So what if we moved them all to prisons? One EU study found that giving them 30% more space, perches, fresh air, and
I believe the note at the start mentioned that we were going to talk cost of breeding accounts. So yeah, the price would be higher after transportation and handling tax. And let's not forget about the stupid tariffs that's happening right now. I don't know if it's taken account for that.
Daylight would increase the price by another 13 cents per serving. Probably less than 5% of meat chickens live free range in relatively decent conditions. This meat is actually noticeably more expensive, double the price of regular chicken. But chicken is the cheapest meat, so depending on the cut, you'd pay 35 cents to €1 or $1 more for a serving of chicken that had a decent life.
Okay, to be fair, I do buy a lot of chicken, and I hardly buy a lot of beef because, well, there's like I feel like I can do more with a chicken than I can do with a cow. So I would buy, you know, a pack of chicken every 2, maybe 3 weeks. I can make it last a month. Like, that's my thing. But I know there's plenty of other people that would eat that chicken up in like a week or 2 or less. So I don't know what it tells about me, but I don't eat a lot of meats. Do you always have longer spiky horns, or am I crazy? You're crazy. It's always been like this. You're just viewing me at a like a different angle than usual.
Pigs. Pigs are basically dogs. They're as intelligent, social, and playful as our wolf buddies and make lovable pets. So pigs really feel how they live and arguably have it the worst of all animals we eat.
Oh, jeez. So, get this, right? I don't know who it was, but I remember a family buying a chicken. Excuse me, not chicken. That's definitely not a chicken. A pig, and they told their daughter, "Yeah, no, we're don't get attached to this pig." And so she named it this name and was having fun around the pig. And then later on, they were having food when she got home, and there's like when she ate all her dinner, she wanted to go play with the pig, and they had to break the news like, oh yeah, no, we slaughtered it. This is Michael, the pig that you ate. And they did tell her, don't get attached, because they were going to slaughter the pig. But I mean, at least the pig had a happy life before its end. I mean, at least it's not in in those prison camps, or torture chambers. But still, though, pigs are smart. It's just kind of suck. Like, I mean, if they literally told her ahead of time, it's kind of hard. Yeah, but she was a kid. She was like a little kid. But still, it's on her. Like, they told her up front. It's still a better life, exactly. Like, sure, it got slaughtered, but it's still a better life than just in a cramped cell with others, getting fatter and fatter.
Probably more than 90% of all pigs live in torture camps. They spend their entire lives indoors in extremely crowded spaces on concrete floors without straw or bedding. Since this is far from what they need, they get frustrated and often fight. Piglets have their tails docked to stop tail biting. Most males are castrated after birth so that their meat will taste better, often without pain relief to save time.
What?
Mothers are kept in crates, extremely tight metal straitjackets where they can't move at all. This leads to extreme suffering for the mother and for the piglets, which are held in a barren area separated by metal bars and taken away at just 3 weeks old. Imagine treating dogs like that. First, let's get to the prison level. Getting rid of crates would raise the cost of a €2 serving of pork by about 20 cents. Anesthesia for castration costs almost nothing, around 1 cent per kilogram of meat. And a study in Denmark found that giving pigs more straw and bedding material
Wait.
Castration costs almost nothing of pork by about 20 cents. Anesthesia for castration costs almost nothing.
Anastasia. So is that the stuff that knocks you out? And they're saying it costs nothing? Like, tell me I'm right about that. Oh, it's painkiller. Oh, I thought it was the stuff that knocks you out. Because if that was the case, then why is healthcare trying to up the price on that? Knocks them on their ass. Yeah. Like, it's probably not the same version, but my point stands.
Around 1 cent per kilogram of meat. And a study in Denmark found that giving pigs more straw and bedding material and 30% more space and other things that are more animal-friendly would increase the price per serving by another 20 cents. This is still an awful life for an animal this intelligent, but obviously much better, for 40 cents more per serving. Going one level further and giving pigs outdoor access for at least 40% of their lives and 300 to 400% more space indoors would increase the price per serving by another 80 cents.
That I believe, but still, like, now I feel wrong about eating pigs, like bacon and such. I don't even think bacon is from pigs, is it? If it is, I don't know. Anyways, honestly, it probably is the same drug, but the US healthcare is super fucked up, like the meat industry. Yeah, but if it's like costs next to nothing, then how come the what did the who that created the how and since they were talking about upping the prices during surgery, if it costs next to nothing, because things only cost what they do because people out in the coat put the cost on them. And I think it goes down to people grabbing horse products because they don't want to buy stuff from actual from over the counter stuff, since apparently that stuff is better. I don't know. Like, judging from other people, allegedly it was probably better, but honestly I don't think it is, since it's made for horses, that are like what, 4 times our size, or excuse me, weight. I'm probably being a little lower than that. The only way horse grade painkillers would be better is that they'd be stronger. Yeah. Okay. But obviously more dangerous. Yeah. Exactly. That's why I added if it was for horses, because it's definitely not for humans, it's for horses. And if you take it, I'm just saying, this is all on you. Like, I wouldn't recommend it.
Just over 1% of pigs in the EU live in these or similar conditions. We can't know if this is really okay for such a smart and social animal, but it starts resembling something decent. And all for about $1.2 or euros more per serving of pig. Cows. Cows raised for meat have it the best because they usually spend about 2/3 of their lives outdoors, making their lives pretty good. If they were in the wild, it'd be basically the same thing, but less safe. Their lives are far from perfect, though.
Cows are like great forest puppies. Honestly, they're pretty great, because they love social interaction and stuff. They're basically the dogs. Grass puppies, thank you.
Especially at the end. The vast majority of cows spend the last months of their short lives in finishing feedlots, either prisons or torture camps, where they're fattened to reach their slaughter weight as fast as possible.
Aww.
Probably less than 5% of beef cattle in the US have lifelong access to outdoor pasture. And yet, a recent German study found that it only increases the price of beef by around 15%. The life quality of cows varies widely even within countries and regions, depending on the available land, climate and farming traditions. So it's really impossible to make more easy and cheap suggestions to make their lives better. Dairy cows do have it much worse. They're often kept...
Oh yeah, because don't need to get fed, they just need to get milked all their lives.
Indoors for most of the year and suffer pain, sole ulcers and lesions from standing on concrete. But once again, none of these things seem to be needed to have affordable milk. In Germany, outdoor pasture increases the price of the milk by about 10 cents per litre.
This is why I buy almond milk. Not because of this, because I just don't like dairy milk does not sit well with me.
Could go on with many other animals and farming practices, but the summary is clear. For the animals we eat the most, upgrading their living conditions from outright torture to somewhat decent may cost you about 15% more for beef and milk, 50% for eggs and pork, and 100% for chicken meat. The meat of the issue. Opinion part. Meat has gotten so cheap that we have to torture animals to keep the prices insanely low. This really is all there is to it. Food in developed countries is the cheapest it's been in history. In the US, the largest meat consumer in the world, an average person spends $337 a month on food.
Yeah, that $337. Well, I mean, if you're talking groceries, I've seen people buy $200 worth of groceries every other week. So maybe that'll be coming down to that. I don't know. Like my groceries, I'm always living low. Like, come on, like, you expect me to like live that anybody, but Um, my groceries come out to about $70 to $100 every 2 to 3 weeks. So I can cut it down because I buy in bulk, and I buy from Aldi's, and even then, like even with pickup, it's still cheaper than Walmart has.
$88 on meat.
We shop every week. I mean, you're with family, aren't you?
Eggs and dairy. If these became an average 50% more expensive, that would increase the monthly expenditure on food by about $43.
Yeah, but yeah, it's for okay, then that would explain a lot then. And food waste and whatnot, yeah, I understand that. Like, I use all the food I have. Even, like, sometimes I don't buy new stuff. Like, oh, I want to eat this. But I don't want to mess it up, so I'm not going to. That's how I am.
This may sound like a lot, but relative to income, this only means paying as much for food as US consumers did in 1987. In Germany, the average person spends about €70 a month on meat, eggs and dairy. If we increased prices by 50% on average to make the lives of these animals better in a really meaningful way, this would rise by about €35 to about €100.
Oh.
If this still sounds too expensive, it may be because around 20% of all meat people buy is simply thrown away.
This is what I hate. Like, people go around wasting food a lot, especially in America. Like, I freaking hate it. Like, people decided, hey, I'm gonna throw out this food and not give it to anybody else. Oh, the poor? Oh, well then I guess we can't do that. Like, we don't want to get I would assume they don't want to get sued because, oh, this meat is going bad. Like, if it's near their expiration date but not past it, then just give it to the poor. Like, sure, you're not gonna be selling the meat, but like you're also gonna be throwing it away in the garbage, where the freaking maggots and flies are gonna get, and probably a lucky raccoon. That's what drives me insane. And they made it illegal here to feed poor people unless you're an actual fund. Why? That makes no I'm not going to comment on this anymore. I'm done. I'm getting mad. Let's just continue.
Got so cheap that we often don't eat it before it goes bad. It's no longer valuable. Okay, so if you go shopping, what can you do? It can feel like you can't do anything as an individual.
You got your back. No, we were talking about some like meat being thrown out, and then I was getting mad at it. So it's nothing too bad. Like, you just came in at the wrong time. It's not going to be like this all the time. At least I hope not. But yeah, Toulon didn't read laws are dumb. Now I'm mad too. I'm 100% right. I'm 100% there. That's why I shut myself down, because I was getting super mad about that.
Consumer, but this is not true. The market follows demand. So if you don't want to buy torture meat, look at the labels on holding conditions. If there is none, it is torture meat for sure. If there is, well, it's complicated. It's often unclear what different labels mean, if they're strictly enforced or legally binding. Some are great, others whitewashing. And we haven't talked about the most expensive meat so far, organic meat. You've probably noticed that many price estimates we've given here don't quite match your experience in the supermarket. This is in part because some retailers consider ethical products luxury goods and charge an even higher price, and also because many labels like organic, natural, ecological, bio, or the worst of all, biodynamic, often contain a lot of extras or pseudoscience that have nothing to do with animal welfare. Many, but not all of these labels include some of the best practices mentioned before, but not necessarily all. Organic brands often include, for a lack of a better word, stupid measures, like forbidding GMO feed. As we covered in another video, banning GMOs doesn't do anything good for you or the animals. It just makes your food more expensive and seem more natural, while you are consuming unnatural animal breeds living a deeply unnatural life. Unfortunately, the label situation in many countries is extremely confusing, often on purpose. All too often we don't know what we're really buying. So, grudgingly, if you can afford it and want at least a high chance of torture-free meat, go for the label. If you can afford it, buy organic. If you can afford it and have time, research local farms and get your meat from a place you've seen yourself. There's one exception, too good not to mention: mussels. They suck up carbon and filter water, making coastlines cleaner. Calling mussels dumb is giving them too much credit.
Didn't you know that they actually use mussels to check what was it? How clean the water is? And it's a stupid thing too, because they use a thing to they put hot glue on a shell in a little diner, and if they close, then the little thing that clicks the diner will go off, indicating that the water is unsafe. That's some freaking Looney Tunes stuff happening.
With no central nervous system and probably no thoughts or pain, they're basically moss. Really, everyone should eat more mussels. Okay, let's wrap up. You don't need to be vegan to think the current situation is unacceptable. The conditions of most animals we eat are hard to stomach and could all be avoided if we paid as much for meat as our parents did. Things are slowly getting better, at least in the West. Consumers can push the industry in the right direction if we bite the bullet and pay more. If you can't afford this, maybe eat a bit less meat.
I don't know, increase minimum wage and not waste the freaking money over and overseas. Yeah, I said it.
Throw meat away. Maybe avoid the worst torture meat like pork, at least sometimes. And push for legislation that bans the most horrific practices. We can help make the lives of billions of animals
Is that a Pokemon? I feel like that's a Pokemon. I feel like I saw that in Pokemon.
dramatically better. It really is that simple.
Wait a minute.
Simple.
You! I know you! You're from frickin' Sly Cooper. In the first game. With the barn level in the swamps. Exploding bomb chickens.
You can only advocate for better policies
Who's
if you have
that
enough reliable
Pokemon? It's Miltank.
Oh, that would explain it. Thank you.
information. When financial incentives are prioritized, facts can be manipulated or even omitted altogether. In 2024, many major fast food chains backtracked on serving chicken that's free from antibiotics and do use it on sick chickens now. But is this the full story? To get nuanced perspectives, we draw on Ground News. We admire them as a long-time sponsor for their aim to provide a balanced account and leave the final conclusion up to you. This is what we're aiming for as well. Ground News lets you easily access nearly 100 additional articles published worldwide on these policy changes. Let's look closer. Scripps News cites flu outbreaks in farms. This video was only possible.
Okay, that's about what I've expected. But like, it made me a little bit mad just looking into it. All right, how about increase price of 50%, but we don't make animal lives better? Yeah, that sounds about right. Man, I don't know. Minecraft Farm was so close to reality. Oh yeah, with the whole cows being shoved into a tight space. Interesting. Appreciate that they put their ads in the end of it, right? Because I know there's sometimes video like ads in the middle of the screen. Like, hey, you don't have to, but would you mind watching these? Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah. Anyways, My thoughts on this? We need to take good care of animals, and then we can slaughter them, or regulate how much meat is being put out, because there's so many times where meat's being thrown out because no one's buying them. And let's not forget about the price of meat coming out. It's all going to collapse. Like, I know I'm sounding like a freaking theorist, but here's the thing. People aren't getting paid a lot, and minimum wage hasn't gone up. Only for a few other states, but still. Minimum wage is low. They're not rising. I lost my train of thought there. Minimum wage is low. So that means they can't buy enough. But companies are expecting higher in prices. So they're outputting a lot more stuff, which means a lot more waste that's happening. And it cycles until no one's buying your stuff because they would rather buy beans, because meat is unacquirable because it's so expensive. And it's just going to cycle and cycle until that happens. And then everyone's asking, who did it? Who's the one that did it? Was it you? Minimum wage people. You did this. You made us poor. We can't buy our 20th, our 22nd Camaro or Corvette or Ferrari. Yes, cannot buy our 22nd Ferrari, and already have 21 of them collecting dust. That is my dust. I want that dust. This is mine, and I want another car to collect that dust. I don't know. I just want to. Here's your rant here, okay? Just leave me alone right there.